This is again one of those statements that it's half true, half false.
Come on, come on, come on.
Well, good evening, folks, and welcome to the Fling Show. My name is Chris McClung, your host this evening, and I can't wait to bring on my co-host, Mr. David Hemi, in just a few minutes. But until then, I've been told we've been missing this step, and I know Hemi's just a little too shy to ask. So we're going to ask, if you do like what we do and you do appreciate what we do, hit that like button and please share and subscribe as well. We really appreciate all of our viewers, and thank you so much for tuning in this evening. And par usual, happiness is disc golf, and we have a lot of happy subjects to talk about this evening. But first, it wouldn't be possible without our sponsor from Lone Star Disc. Once again, the only disc made and manufactured in the great state of Texas. And we want to thank the Dillard family for being sponsors of the Fling Show and always being behind us. So what we're going to do, and we've been talking a lot on this show about the Fellowship of Disc Golf, and it means so much to me. And I know it means that much for my wife to push me out the door so I get some as well on a weekly basis. So here's what we're going to do. You see this my card post right here. Those were the two cards that I had this past week, and I posted them, and we want you to post yours. I'm going to put this on our Facebook page. You go on over there and you post your favorite card photo that you've had recently. Tell us a little story about it. And the winner, as him and I look over those posts, is going to get a signed disc. A signed disc, you say? Yes. A signed disc from the Fling Show. Mr. David Hemi and myself, we're going to get you a signed disc in your hand for showing your favorite card of the week. But once again, thank you to our sponsors of the Fling Show. We do appreciate everything you do. Now, there's some big news and things going on this week in our area. And I mean some big news. And here to share that with you once again for the big big news, as long as I can pull up the correct video, because I'm really bad at that sometimes. God, I was almost right there, Hemi. I mean, I had it. Give me one more shot. I'll pull up that right one. But we do have some big news, and here he is about that. Come on, where'd you go? Is this it? I think this is it. This is it. We're going to see it. This is the big news. And to hear and introduce that to you is Matt Stillwagon. Matt, what is the big news?
Hey, Chris, thanks for having me on. Tonight, I'd like to talk to everybody about our return to our other tour, the Appetite for Destruction Tour, which is all of our PDGA tour events for this year. The next upcoming event, which has been on the calendar since November, is the Houston Club Cup Championship. This will be a fun and unique event. PDGA sanctioned B tier, or C tier rather, at Stonebridge. Divisions are open, registration is open. This is happening on the 20th. The cool thing about this tournament is it is meant to kind of build on the camaraderie of the local clubs and appreciate the local clubs a little bit. What we're doing is that players will come out, and when they check in, they will tell us what club they're playing for that day. And we'll keep track of that. And then at the end of the day, with the clubs that have shown up and represented, we will take the best AM score and the best pro score from those clubs. And those two players will represent their club as a doubles team at the end of the tournament. That doubles team will play a really cool Safari 9-hole course at Stonebridge. And the winner of the Safari 9 will go home with the pictured Houston Club Cup champions. This will be bragging rights. This is a very nice trophy that we have set up for it. It is designed to be a traveling trophy so that next year we can add another name to the list as well, as far as the clubs go. So you got a lot of clubs that are out there, but this is certainly a quality event that has been planned out and on the schedule for some time now, and we're really looking forward to it. So I sincerely hope to see a lot of clubs with their presidents and with a lot of people out there wearing their club gear to represent their clubs that day, and we're going to put on a really good event, and I'm really looking forward to this Safari 9.
Oh, me too, Matt. I think it's going to be a blast. And as you can see behind me, it's registered, ready and open on Disc Golf Scene right now. Go ahead and get yourselves signed up for that. But that's not the only thing we got going on, Matt. Can we talk a little bit through the County Line Clash that we have coming up also as part 2 of the Minor League Disc Golf Tour?
Yeah, now this is kind of a shift away from the Appetite for Destruction Tour. This is part of our Minor League Disc Golf Tour, the second stop, and we put this one on the 28th. That's a Sunday up at Shawshank. This will be an awesome event. 2 rounds, 2 different 18-hole layouts on Shawshank, playing Valley Cali. A lot of people around here know what Valley Cali is and really like it. Basically, for those that are not familiar with it, think of it like it's doubles, but you're your own partner. That's 2 shots on every shot. Take your best shot, keep your score, you're in good shape. Yes, your ace counts if it's on the second shot because everybody's getting that second. Going into this event, the bonus cash rather for the tour stands at $115 after one event, and the ace pot stands at $70 after the first event as well. So those cash numbers will continue to roll until it's hit as far as the ace pot goes, or the end of the season when all of the bonus cash is distributed amongst divisions. But the nice thing about it is this is your second opportunity to gain points for every person you beat in the entire field, not just your division. You will accrue 1 point for every person that you beat or tie, and those points all add up. Bonus points for first, second, third place finishes, anti-bagger rules in effect. We got some guys that are going to definitely be crossing that first bagger threshold. You're one of them. It should be coming up very, very well, and things are really starting to take shape there. So you want to come out and get in on that because those points, the divisions are broken down into groups. So we've grouped several divisions together. There's 4 different groups, and the top points getter out of each one of those groups will receive a Prodigy T2 basket. So thank you to our friends at Prodigy, who have been big supporters of the minor league disc golf tour. Thank you, of course, to Southern Star Brewery, who is the big sponsor for the entire minor league disc golf tour as well. So different styles of event, lots of different ways to have fun. As a matter of fact, if the only way you pretty much can't find a way to win at our events is to not play. So I encourage everybody to sign up.
All right, Matt. Well, I appreciate you coming on this evening, fill everybody in about what we got going on around our area. And I look forward to those events, and we'll catch up with you soon. All right.
Thank you, sir.
You have a great day. Peace.
You too. Goodbye.
Now that's a feat in itself. Me being able to keep Matt Stillwagon in it. You know that as well as I do. But without further ado, my co-host, Mr. David Hemi. How you doing, David?
Hey, Chris. I'm doing fabulous, man. I'm good. I like that trippy intro there. I like that. Whatever you did there with the disc, that's cool, with the trees around it. I like that.
You like that one?
Yeah, that's cool.
It's almost as fun as that music that you got to me this afternoon, just the way the Fling show always does at that last minute. I just was putting everything together and was able to use another just wonderful Hemi special. I really, now that you tell me who it was, I heard the interview, I could tell who the voices was, and that was us. And I don't know which one it was, but I love that you were able to intertwine that with the play disc golf as well. Well done, sir. Really enjoyed it. So we started off when you first got on the show. Seems like you've been pushing your arc through the waters, traveling and traversing through Houston, Texas for these last few days. How's it been and what you been up to?
Great. As you probably know, if you're listeners, if you happen to be listening, you probably know I like to drive for Uber, and it's one of my passions. And it seems like I'm always out in the rain, and for some reason it just calls me. I don't mind the weather, as long as it doesn't keep it up like it did, start training on us. Seems to have let up a little bit, but I was thinking of something when I was driving. I was like, you teach your kids in South Texas, drive on the right lane and let people, that are going faster, but you totally ignore that when it's raining. You don't want to go on this right lane because that's the flood lane. You know what I'm saying, right? Like you'll see somebody just crash head on into it traveling in that lane. You got to be careful with that lane, so that's one of my notes for the day was stay out of the right lane when it's coming down rain.
When it's pouring down, because I don't you and I know it is crested to go that direction, but once it gets over there on that side, that doesn't mean that it's just going to automatically get off that lane. And you are right. Well, you hit those things, it's almost somewhat like hitting a wall. Sometimes your car just almost comes to an automatic stop, and it's a dangerous thing. And I'm glad you brought that up, because not a lot of drivers driving these torrential pour downs that we have here in Houston, Texas. Unfortunately, it's also not allowed us to get out and play much golf, but knowing you love to watch golf. So was there anything this past weekend that kind of had caught your fancy?
I highly recommend you go watch. Greg Barbsby takes down the Masters Cup there, De La Viega, Santa Cruz, historical, place for disc golf. And I think that's where he won. I'm not sure if it was Worlds or if it was just a big tournament, but he won it with a roller ace on this incredibly tricky hole, impossible hole. And he throws a roller, and it's not on video anywhere. It's just a legend, but it actually happened. And there are people who witnessed it, so on that same course, Barsby comes back from second card, chase card, and I was watching, I think it was Central Coast, and if you guys know, if you're listening, if you know what I'm talking, I think it was Central Coast. I have to look at it. That covered it, but it was really great watching something not live. It kind of gave me a little bit of pandemic nostalgia from watching all the Jomez and stuff. I don't know if you guys were like I was, but everybody kind of binged out on Jomez, especially at the beginning of COVID, because that's, you had a lot of time to watch. And so I watched a lot of those post-production tournaments, and I haven't done that in a while since I've been a subscriber with Disc Golf Network and the ability to watch it live. So it was really cool going back and watching. I think they had Shasta Chris, who's like a long time, maybe, local favorite, maybe a Hall of Famer. I'm not sure. I don't really know the history of him, but he was doing the commentary, and they had the lead card the whole time. So you don't get to watch Barsby. But man, that course, if you ever have a chance to play it, I suggest you play it, because I had a chance when I lived out in Southern California. I never made it up the 5-hour drive or however it was to play it. I never played it. We had a newborn and my son was just born. And so, but just watching it on video, that is hands down my favorite type of golf to watch, those kind of courses. The kind of course that Greg Barsby wins, not the kind of course that Eagle McMahon, no offense to Eagle, but people with these big arms, Burr, Heimberg, Paul McBeth, those kind of guys with freak distance, they're going to be challenged on a course like that. And I love watching that. There's just something to me that, I have my favorites of courses I like to watch, and the ball golf courses, with the exception of what Vandegrift did and Steve and Stanley and all those guys there at Brock Park, that was an exceptional layout for a ball golf course. And it read well. It didn't look like a ball golf course. I don't know. So that's what I did. That was my research for the week.
And
watching.
you said, what about this weekend? Is there something that you're looking forward to that's going to be on TV? Because obviously right now our courses are going to be in about a foot of water, and it looks like we may be doing a lot more watching.
Yeah. And I'm not, I'm not up on it. I am not a disc file. I just happen to click on it just like everybody else on the weekend when I'm not driving. And I don't even know what's coming up.
But you'll be watching something, I'm fairly sure.
Oh, for sure.
With this weather, it's just turned, and it looks like it's going to be sitting here for about the next 2 weeks, which we typically can get that type of weather as well. But I kind of look forward to watching a little bit of that myself, because as we spoke about it last week, it's just amazing how many golfers are tuned into the tour itself. And I like when you give them a little bit of nuggets about some things they might want to go back and look back upon. I thought that was a neat idea. They had also some guys were talking about what would help disc golf. And one of them was to get the tours put on something like a Netflix or an Amazon or any, Tubi or anything like that, to where you could go back and watch a full season of what has been put out before, like cataloging it. And I think that, I think that's like a hidden gem that, especially for future disc golfers, because we already have a hard enough time trying to decide on, which I always think sometimes is a silly question anyway, who are the best disc golfers, even if you don't talk about Mount Rushmore. But it just is nice to know the history of some of these great players, because I'm finding out quickly what I thought I know. I know very little about the history of disc golf when you come to talk to the people that and who have been on the show. Yeah,
you really need, there's so much out there. There's just so much video out there. We need some kind of app or something. You need like a U-Disc for post-production, or a U-Disc for disc golf archives, or something like that, to be able to just enter your search. And I guess that's what Google is in a broader sense. You just Google Ken Climo footage and somebody stuck it up there somewhere. But it'd be nice to have it all cataloged somehow, especially with the tours. And since the beginning of the tour that's happened, I'm not even sure how long it's been going, a couple of years now. It'd be nice to go back and look. Highlight that.
The unfortunate part of that is Ken Climo will become the Bob Cousy, right? He'll be only known by such a small fraction of people, in the later generations, because you really have to look it up and not have that grainy old footage like we watched of,
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
the 13 championships of the Boston Celtics from 1956 to 1977 or whatever it was. But anyway, my mouth's off just a little bit on that.
Yeah. And watching that stuff, it's like you come into it biased because that's who you were born with. Like I'm a Larry Bird guy, I'm as opposed to a Michael Jordan. I remember a time when I have a friend who's a talent scout. He's like a baseball scout, really all around great sports guy. Grew up playing everything with this guy, my friend Jeff, and we taught each other how to block out just by playing one-on-one. This is the guy. Anyway, but he got into that whole thing, and I remember early college days, like, watch out for this kid, man. I don't know where he's from, but I can't remember. He probably knew everything about him, but this kid named Michael Jordan, watch out for this kid. That's how old I am. I have my friend telling me, watch out for this kid, Michael Jordan.
From Raleigh, North Carolina.
Yeah. And that's what I was thinking too, because I know he played NC.
Oh yeah. One of my best friends got an autograph from him his freshman year at North Carolina on a napkin. And that was still one of his most proud possessions he had. And he was a huge North Carolina basketball fan stuck in the state of Texas. So you know how that went over. We were always arguing about that. But I too
win the title?
That generation. But I was more of a Calvin Murphy. I love Calvin Murphy and Moses Malone, and mainly because I'm a local and we had our Houston team right here. I hated the Celtics. Not that I didn't respect what Bird could do. I did. But I was always on my team. So I date myself back to Moses and Calvin and Bill Willoughby and Granville Waiters and people have no earthly idea. Billy Paltz, Mike Newland. I can go down the list of people. The Shark, Mike Newland. We had Mike Dunleavy. It was a guard for the Rockets who ended up being the coach and won the NBA championship. So yeah, we date ourselves. You're right. But I enjoy the skill level that you see back then is still skill level. People who could shoot. People who could dribble. People who play defense could play defense. They can play it today. They could play it yesterday. The rules have changed a little bit, as you and I have gone over that, but
well, I mean, to me, it's like, I like the players that had kind of a nose for the game, just not necessarily the total, physically the ideal NBA player, like I don't know, Spud Webb. I mean,
Moses, he couldn't shoot a lick. He got rebounds because he just tapped it to himself over and over again. It wasn't like he was really good.
He wasn't trying to pad the stats.
A whole lot. He was just a hustler, and he blocked you out, and he was mean, and he was tough, and he was just a basketball player. He played offense and defense. And one thing I hate about sometimes they talk about today's players, like, oh well, he doesn't play much defense. Well, no doubt.
Who does?
Because they paid them for offense.
Yeah, they only play defense in the playoffs in the fourth quarter, in the last 10 minutes of the fourth quarter.
And not all superstars, so we already know that. But we digress from one sport to another. Now, we kind of came up with a new section, and our viewers kind of were asking for it. So I said, well, why not? We needed to ask our resident pro some questions. So we created a new segment we like to call 3 Questions with Hemi. Are you ready, Hemi? We got 3 questions from the audience. As you can see, the subject matter has already been put on there for you. And they're not going to be exactly what you think they are, okay?
All right.
Now, the first one's an art. And the question, and I'm going to have to kind of riff this just a little bit, but it dealt with the fact that everyone knows that you're an artist and you love art, and we all love your art. But one thing that I noticed playing with you, and a lot of people notice, that your artistic view has a lot to do with the camera. You love to take pictures, especially when you're on the disc golf course. Now, I know you like to do it when you're walking your dog too. I'm pretty sure you like to do it when you're driving. What do you find is one of your favorite subject matters when you are taking pictures?
Oh man, that's subject matters. I like mushrooms, just this walk just today. Let's see. Where'd it go?
Oh yeah.
Anyway, no, just the things. It doesn't have to be nature, even just the things that pop out. That, and especially walking the dog. I retook this one because it kept showing me more and more what it was. So I don't know if you can see this. See if I can get it where it's not glare. It was just kind of a fungus or something on this tree that looks like an angel. And so just things that pop out, a lot of times they're really tiny, it's like those little wildflowers that you don't even notice, you don't even see them, and it'll just catch my eye. And then sometimes I'll have to put like my finger down there to even get it into focus, so you can tell the scale of how tiny this thing is, so that kind of stuff, I think it's important. And as far as disc golf goes, to feel the air and the breeze and just be a part of everything that that you're playing, it really helps your nerves, especially in competition. It's why you talk about, you always say I like to don the headphones. I haven't done that in a long time. I don't know if you noticed, but I haven't used the headphones in a long time because I'm really, I guess it's just kind of, first of all, it's not, I'm not really into music when I'm playing disc golf. I used to use it just for comfort, just to make me more comfortable. I'd put on Radiohead or something that's kind of that droney sort of sound where I'm not really listening to anything. But then I just kind of got to be too cumbersome. I haven't worn headphones in a couple of months now at all. But
well, you just killed the second question. So thank you very much. The second question was, and it was kind of funny, you even prefaced it by, I have not worn headphones in a while. And while I'm going to go, you're right, I have not seen you wear headphones in a while, but oftentimes I think that you wear headphones based upon sometimes the environment. And sometimes you are very acute to wanting to be into the game and being, focused on the task at hand versus chit chatter, or maybe you think that you don't want to hear, whether it's negativity from somebody on a specific card during competition. So let's refine that then, and let's talk during competition. Do you find that music does allow you to kind of, with like the art and taking a picture, kind of soothe you a little bit? Is that what you do with your music? And besides Radiohead, what are maybe a couple other types of music you like listening to?
I like Cocteau Twins, which is from the 80s. But you don't really notice the lyrics. It's not really about the lyrics. So just things that don't really have a message, maybe even some kind of meditational trance sort of, just something that's just filling the background, but I found that for some reason, Radiohead just does it for me when I was really competing. Like right now, it doesn't matter if you talk while I play, because I'm not trying to compete. I'm really not even on a one-to-one level when we play together. I'm not trying to compete against you. I'm really in just have fun mode with disc golf, and also learn the plastic. I got a big, huge learning curve. And so, yeah, really, it's
which, by the way, is fun to watch you do that, because to watch somebody on the pro level take a disc and then kind of have an understanding of okay, it's supposed to do this, and then B, making it do that, or kind of figuring out how to get to do that, because you don't typically do it in the wide open. We don't typically play in wide open spaces. You and I, we typically play in tight, narrow, gapped areas. So as an observer watching you throw this new Lone Star Plastic is quite entertaining, because obviously the first ones are funny. But then, of course, sometimes the first ones you just nail it and you're just like, wow. That's, it's amazing to watch pros throw something when you put it in their hand and go, okay, this is what it's going to do. And then you do it. It's got to be fun, right?
Oh, it's the best thing in the world. And especially, we talked about this last week, I think, even how much I love throwing the Annie. And like my two favorite discs out of all the ones that I've gotten from Lone Star in the last couple of weeks are the Laureate. I'm going to say Laureate. I'm going to pronounce it Laureate. You can say lariat if you want. I
You
guess.
say whatever you want, man.
Okay. I like the lariat and a lot. I like the Texas Ranger, and it's both of those because I threw that big Annie that you just gotta nail. You gotta get it. Those Annie shots. You have to make it turn, or it doesn't work. And both of those did that. And so I see like great potential in that. And then I was looking through all my drivers and stuff, and I'm like, oh my God, I got plenty of beefy drivers that will work. And also got the tumbleweed, which I haven't even gotten to throw yet, and the which is the Flippo Master, and the Harriet. Is that what it's called? Harriet?
Mm-hmm.
No, not Harriet.
It is.
Yeah, Harriet. So, and the Harriet looks promising because I always like me a flippy, fast disc. I don't know how
you got the arm speed for it. I'm glad it kind of, before we ask you the last question, we do kind of need to bring this up. And I totally forgot about it. Lone Star Disc is opening up the new part of the shop. You and I just happened to walk up as they were prepping it and getting it ready. So if you haven't seen on Facebook, go to Facebook and Lone Star Disc Facebook page. They're actually having a grand opening event. Tournament included, specials galore. It's going to be a blast because the new Lone Star Disc Pro Shop is being open right in front of the course, right when you pull in. So please go to Facebook and check that out. Get yourself signed up for it. It's going to be a blast. Now, this third question, our viewers know that we like to keep things light here, but in the same sense, we're able to talk about some, as they like to say, sticky subjects and still have a little bit of fun and entertainment about it. Now, one thing that was brought up over the weekend, and they wanted me to ask you your view on this, is do you think it matters, and does the PDGA and the Disc Golf Pro Tour have a small problem on their hand?
Do I think they have a small problem?
Yeah, let me make sure that you can see it. Now you can read it without seeing it. But as you can see, the little meme I had fun making today, it kind of took me back to when I was in high school and my feelings about it. But I kind of wanted to hear your feelings about it right now because and what's your thoughts on, and like I said, it's a sticky situation, but in the same sense, it's light. I mean, it doesn't affect you or I.
Yeah, man, I don't know. There's some little like blue foamy looking things on the ground or worms. What is that? I know it's drugs.
Those are pills.
Yeah,
those are pills.
Yeah. And
you have the needle going into the disc golf basket. So basically it's about
steroids.
Just drug enhancement, because they've really started coming. The questions are starting to come forth in the disc golf world. And I was wondering, as a competitor yourself, and I know that you and I both played football, basketball, baseball, track, and did anything else that had to do with competition. I know how I feel about these things, but they were asking how you felt about it being a pro.
All right, here's one answer. Okay. And I'm not endorsing this. I'm just throwing it out there. It's something that I actually kind of feel this. And I'd say, I actually heard somebody say it one time as a joke. Let's just pump everybody up and go for it and see what happens. Like no real like drug anarchy, just do whatever and see what happens and see what kind of monsters we can produce. But I don't think in disc golf it's going to help you that much. I guess for recovery and stuff like that, yeah. It make you stronger, yeah, blah blah blah. But I mean, it's an art. Disc golf is an art. It doesn't take a huge muscular guy to be great at disc golf. There are some people that are overweight that are great. There are guys that are underweight that are great, tiny little guys that can just walk all day that are great. I mean, it's not, I don't know. But yeah, as far as controversy, God, man, it's a growing sport, and this is one of the things it's going to have to do. And at some point they're going to have to test. I mean, maybe do they already do that? I don't know.
Well,
I don't know
here's a couple things I'll lay at you and get your reaction from. One is drug testing is extremely expensive. Okay. And I don't know exactly how much it is, but the UFC in other sports who have really gotten into the high level drug testing, one, talk about the expense of it. Two, if you're really that into doing it, they've always 2 steps ahead of the testers. Now, 3, what you were talking about doesn't really help you being strong and big. True that. But Lance Armstrong proved that it wasn't really about, strength. It was more about endurance. It's more about being able to just continue on and continue to do it over and over and over again. So obviously they wouldn't take it if it wasn't better. But I am kind of on your side on this one, because when I was young, I fought it. I couldn't stand the fact that I had to compete with guys in high school, knowing that I knew that they took it, and it bothered me as a kid. And I never, as growing up, it still bothered me. I always thought it was an unfair advantage, especially in the track and field area that I come from. But I know in disc golf now it's coming to the forefront, because as well as I do, the more money that comes with it, the more people are going to try to get an advantage. So I'm kind of like, I'm on your side with this. At the end of the day, you're not really going to be able to catch them. And because they're smarter and they get paid a lot more money, because that's how the game's done. And it's not just because they're smarter in disc golf. They do it for other sports, and it's just going to transfer over to disc golf. So I think you're just chasing your tail. So it was it's one of those kind of things. I kind of agree with you,
Yeah, it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate that you have people who would want to risk their lives, their physicality to, have some kind of advantage to make money or to be better or whatever it is that you're going for. I can't imagine being inside Lance Armstrong's brain when all that was going down. And he was winning all those in a row. And, I don't even know anything about that sport, but I was there in the Austin area when all that was going on. It's just like, this is nuts, man. This guy has been scamming people.
Yeah. And then I was working at Minute Maid Park watching Mark McGuire and Sammy Sosa when they're doing their home run years with Barry Bonds, and they would be coming through. I was working in center field at Ruggles, and they got to just witness just things that I had never seen before. I mean, I'd been to baseball games before, and I got to go to pregame and watch people do batting practice, but the sounds that you would hear off Mark McGuire and Sammy Sosa when they hit a ball was just amazing. Barry Bonds, I mean, you were just in awe. And you and I have seen athletes our whole lives, but to see someone crack, 15 home runs over 450 feet, just the physical strength alone, and then go out and perform in a baseball game after that, you knew something was up,
that was weird times.
There's fits of strength, and there's things that that just aren't right. Because I've seen strong people. I've been around just immensely country boys that were just, as as well as I do, country strong, but fits of strength like that, man, I don't know.
And as a society, it was exciting. But, it's the asterisk season, when Bonds hit like what? However many?
72.
Yeah. And before that was McGuire, is that his name?
70.
Yeah. Yeah. And they were both shooting up, I guess.
Yeah, of course. They beat Roger Maris 69, and Sammy hit 62 is what Maris had hit. And then Sammy Sosa hit 69 and didn't even win.
Yeah.
I mean, he hit 69, they hit 70, and the next year he's 72 or 73.
Now that I'm thinking about it, yes, you could gain a huge advantage in disc golf. Yes. There's, answer my own question. I was saying, is there really that much of an advantage? Oh yeah. Yeah. You could be, I could start popping and shooting up right now, and I could be throwing 550 feet. I guarantee you within a couple of months. Probably even at my age, it would just help you get in shape and so it's a problem. I mean, it could be potentially a problem, but
especially since disc golf wants to get into the Olympics. I know that has been I don't know if it's stated on the website goal, but I do know that through conversations with those who are the head of the PDGA, that's one of their goals they have.
Yeah, I know it's a goal. Let me head this off, because I reposted something about it. And it was an April Fool's joke that they had agreed to be a part of the new Olympics, whatever. So that's not happening. Not in the next Olympic, but yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I wasn't
it's
talking
coming.
about that. I'm just saying that I know that they
No,
want to get in it.
I wanted to bring it up because it's just something that I don't know. I perpetuated this April Fool's joke, and they got me basically. And I was telling my family and all that. I was like, "Yeah, man."
Oh, you
Olympics.
got it sent. You found it and you forwarded it on.
Yeah,
I thought you
I
did
forwarded
it.
it
Like,
to my
"Dang,
family
man,
and people
woo,
that I knew. Hey, you know what? Disc golf's going big time.
it's going. It's right now." You know what though? You and I saw skateboarding. You and I saw BMX when it used to just
Tennis,
be at
even.
concerts, some opening show of a concert, and now look at it. It's an Olympic sport making billions of dollars.
Mm-hmm. Hey, let
You
me.
know.
I wanted to shout out Sean and Meredith. They were chiming in. Thank y'all for watching. I'm sorry I didn't comment, but I appreciate y'all listening.
And we
if you-
miss Mare. Oh, we miss Mare. She looks like she's doing so good.
I lost my feed for some reason. You hear me?
Oh, did you? I still got you. You're still on
Okay.
with me.
Okay.
Yeah, I never lost you at all. Well,
All
I
right.
mean, I'm glad we got to ask you the 3 questions with Hemi, getting your ideas. That's kind of funny on the music part. I did notice that you hadn't been listening to it, and but I thought that was just more like that you like to do it during competition. I wasn't really sure. You know, a lot of people like to just kind of tune out and get into their game.
Yeah, and I'm sure if I got back into it, in terms of seriously trying to win something, I'd probably pull them out just to have them ready. You never know.
Do you see do you see in the near future you going and being in a competitive round?
Yeah, I'm still just kind of testing the water in the plastic right now and just kind of eyeballing every once in a while. I'll look at tournaments. I definitely love the minor league thing that y'all got going on. It just looks like something that will be a lot of fun and a good place to start,
Mhm.
But haven't really picked anything yet, but I'm just kind of waiting until I get my bag squared away. I got everything out and laid it all out and was looking through it and seeing what I need. And I haven't thrown that new plastic BB6 that is supposed to be very much like a big turnover mid-range, a little bit more stable than the one I had. And it's in that new plastic, and I'm really excited about getting out there and with those bennies in that new. Do you know what that new plastic's called, Chris?
I was just about to say, you and I got a couple of beautiful discs by an insider at Lone Star when we went and picked up our players portion for this quarter, and it's called the Delta plastic.
Oh, Delta. Yeah. So
that Delta we both got 2 Delta bennies, and thank you so much to our friend at Lone Star for tipping us off about those as well. Because, man,
much
that
appreciated.
plastic is going to be nice.
Yeah, that's the one, man. I think that's the one I'm gonna settle on. Good driving putter too. It's that Delta is such good plastic. It has a feel of what I would call inside the circle kind of disc, but because of that plastic, I know I can throw it. I know it's gonna kind of beat into your favorite throwing putter. I think it's just gonna be an all around great putter.
Yeah, I agree. Because
But
keep
I'm
your eyes open,
definitely
guys. That Benny plastic is going to be great.
That blue bonnet's sweet, though. It's going to be a tough challenge. I don't know how I'm going to work that out, but so right now I've got counting my jackrabbits and my pennies. I think I've got a nice little stack going, about more than 10 putters, which is what I like to practice with. So I was just thinking about it, sitting here in the garage, and there's a nice rain and can't really get out and throw, but you can pull your basket out of your garage and throw. So yeah, I'm thinking about getting that going, and that usually leads to some interest in tournaments, and so you might see me out.
Here's a question I have for you. When you do pick your disc for your bag, and this is a problem that I'm having with, and it's a good problem to have, mind you, with Lone Star is the fact that they are coming out with so much stuff, and not only so many different discs, but the plastic itself, that it's kind of hard for me to hone in and want to change because I get comfortable with something and then something new comes out. And for me, I like familiarity. I like that comfort. And you are now over here trying to choose to put in new things in your bag. What's going to be some of the determining factors that will make a disc stay in your bag?
Well, first of all, feel is the most important thing. And that's why it's important to go buy your discs in person. We talked about this on previous shows. The feel of the disc, it just feels right. When I first picked up that Lariat, I was like, oh yeah, that I just knew it, so it's just a feeling I get. And then, the kind of, again, with the feel, the kind of, is it firm? Is it, I don't know, just, and then also I attach them to memories. I'm really trying to work on learning the numbers so I don't have to, call up other company names when I describe a disc, because I'm sponsored by Lone Star and that's who I want to represent. So I'm trying to learn the language of those little numbers. But for me, I always related to a disc that I grew up throwing, that I just know in my head. Especially when it comes to driver, well, all of them across the board. So yeah, feel, consistency, you talk about that. And that's the thing about this company, it's unique. Probably, I don't know how the early companies started. I would imagine that Innova started a lot like Mint did, just slow and go and build your molds as you go and sell that and just sell that little package full. But all of a sudden, Lone Star comes in and just throws everything at full force all the time. And I don't think anyone has ever seen anything like that. The way they're developing and just their history of plastics and being an actual real molding company, gave them a huge head start. I mean, and that way their early experiments with plastics were great. Like the early Mockingbirds, I don't have either of those two red ones that Travis gave me. And with no stamp, no nothing, no, no labeling, no pen underneath it, those were great discs, and that was their first run stuff. But as we progress, then we come up with Delta Plastic and the V2 and the
You're talking about
yeah,
this one right here.
yeah, that's it.
You're talking about this
Such a
Mockingbird.
great disc. Yeah.
Yes, I've got this Mockingbird right here in my hand.
Let me
This is
see
one of
the
first ones
profile. Let me
ever.
see the profile of it.
Huh?
See the profile. That's a sexy disc right there.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
And think about this, like you said, this came out like in 2019. When was this out? I mean, it's amazing how far they've come in 3 years. I mean,
yes.
yeah. And like you said, this is a sexy disc. It feels good in the hands. And if it wasn't a proto, I would probably be throwing it, but there is no way on God's green earth I'm throwing this disc. It's going back up on the wall.
Yeah. And I've got this weird sort of love-hate with the Mockingbird because I've never really found my Mockingbird, and I actually threw one away of the new stack of the Founders plastic that Travis gave me. And I threw that one away, or just left it somewhere. So I haven't really connected with the Mockingbird yet. Maybe in Delta or something, maybe I'll like the plastic, but for some reason that one just hasn't. It's fun for a shot every once in a while. I threw one off the hill at Spring Valley one time just for fun around the right side of the Mando trees, just to see what would happen. I had a big wind coming right to left, and that thing went all the way to the basket. And that's supposed to be what, a 9-speed. I mean, I had never thrown a disc that far, and it wasn't even a speed driver, so it kind of reminded me of the Valkyrie days and the, getting a hold of a good T-bird. And again, bringing up Innova stuff, but that's how I relate to it. That's what I remember, so that's how in my mind I logged that. Okay, that's a Fast Leopard, or whatever. But anyway, I'm a slow
And it's
learner.
good. It's that way for everybody. I mean,
Yeah.
I've yet to hear people that don't comment on other discs and compare them. And it's kind of like music, right? He's like, oh, well, that band's, they're like such and such. It's like, okay, just to give you an idea of what, it's going to be like. I think that's just human nature. But yeah, the plastic they're coming out with has been amazing. And the fact that they're not going to be doing every mold and every plastic is going to be fun to watch, because you have so many people who right now are just dying for certain plastics. Like, me, I love the V1, V2, and I was hoping they were going to make that Benny out of that. And they're like, nope, not going to do that. But then they gave the Delta, and I was like, oh, that's kind of nice. I like it in that Delta. But sometimes the reason why I like that V1, V2 is as well as I do, I like things that can float, because I'm typically going to take the chance. Now, as I told someone, I'm tired of laying up. I'm just going to start going for it.
Yeah. Yeah. And I was thinking about that earlier today. It's like, why? And maybe it's just not that big of a marketing item. Why haven't you marketed that more? Like the putter that floats. And I guess maybe because here's possible reason. I'll answer my own question. Maybe that already kind of plants a weird image in the buyer's head. They're already talking about the water, and this disc is going to go in the water. It's like, you know what I'm saying? It's like, you've already put a negative spin on it. You threw that thing in the water. But, at the same time, when I found out they floated V2 and V1 float, I'm like, that's huge, especially, there's not too many discs on the market that float. And the ones that are out there, we know what they are, or we did back in the day.
That's funny you said that, because I look at it on the flip side of that. I look at it as a positive. It made me stop throwing pensively. It made me stop throwing hesitantly. I was like, because at first I was like, I didn't want to lose my disc. I like that disc, especially a putter. And I was like, I like my putters. I don't want to lose them. And now I'm like, since they float, I've gotten the copperhead out of the water many times.
Yeah.
But that's because I'm going for it.
I thought about that. I think of it like hole 15 at Spring Valley on that little hill. And all the times where I threw a different putter because I didn't want to lose my main putter. And if the penny putter V1 or 2 was your main putter, then you got no problems and you got no fear, so that gives you a stroke up advantage right there, just not having the fear. You can fling that in the water all you want and you won't lose your putter.
That.
But
I agree.
But I gotta say though, Meredith, she was watching and clicking in and saying she's the old school LSD, which I think is really cool. There's old school LSD plastic, I like that. She likes the Frio. But the Delta, definitely need to keep your eye on this stuff, man. It talk about feel. Right when he handed us that, I was like, okay.
The smile on your face, you're like, oh, you could just hear this, kind of like that sound you make. Like, oh, that was nice. I like that.
And it throws really good. It kind of reminds me of, again, with other brands, it kind of reminds me of a Judge, which, a little bit faster than what I'm used to. I would say the Judge is a little faster than a Challenger, which is what I'm trying to get to really when I wanted a little microbead like the Benny. I was thinking of my Challenger so I can get those out of my bag. And by the way, I took them out of my bag yesterday when I was going through all my stuff and getting ready to bring the basket into the front and start my putting routine up and, get ready for a tournament. I took them out of my bag. That's the first time 15 years or more that I haven't had a Challenger in my bag. That's going to be fun. I'm looking forward to it. Looking forward to seeing what kind of throwing putters I have in my hands, because I love what I feel. I love the Blue Bonnet. I love the Benny. And even, throwing a penny putter in there for certain must get turnover shots. tight tunnel, little E type of situations that you find yourself in, I'll probably throw the penny in there. So make room
That's
for
awesome you said that,
putters.
because I've been going to Kingwood College campus, dropping my son off there on Fridays, and they've got a beautiful campus out there with trees galore. And I've just decided to take my blue bonnet, the penny putter, jackrabbit putter, and my copperhead, and I just go out and throw in between the trees. And I'm just like, oh my goodness, I can throw something straight. I can finish something that fades a foot or two. I can get something that's just going to go up, pop up, and sit down. And that hadn't been in my game in a long time. I stopped throwing mids, and I stopped throwing anything down the middle that was a putter, and just try to bullet it way through with something that was a stable fairway driver or something like that. But now that I've gotten much more comfortable with my backhand, it's helped out my jump putt. It's helped out my putting. It's just been a godsend to put that putter back in my hand. And now the fact that I'm also helping my son out by he's getting started for the first time doing anything really athletic. So getting him out with just putters has been helping me out as well. Us tossing it back and forth, teaching him how to pop that hand, like you always say, release it, pop it, make sure you really pop it at the end, commit to it. It's really improved my game, so I enjoy the putters now.
Yeah. Get out and find a little par two and,
Stonebridge. I think you can take Stonebridge with a putter and a mid and really still play just as well as you could with the driver. I mean, 2 holes, 5 and 6. Other than that, maybe 7. But even with the mid range, you should be able to get close with 7. So going back over the water.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that's a course that would really do well with this, to putt a mid range game. By the way, we are going to do your choose your own 3 little mini coming up here as well. I think you may enjoy that. We're trying to do a little more fun things as the year goes along.
Hold on, let me grab this disc. I gotta show somebody something.
Well, while you do, we do have some big news coming up, just broken today. However, I'm not going to be able to tell you the tournament it is, but I will tell you who the partner it is. Southern Star Brewery. If you can think about what tournament they may have, could be later on in the year, we're going to be doing it. I cannot wait. Teaming up with them again has been a blast. As Matt said, they have been very supportive of the Minor League Disc Golf Tour. And they're going to be big supporters of this show, this tournament that we're putting on later on in the year. Big news coming up. Hopefully we'll have that ready for y'all next week. Hemi, you have that disc you were talking about?
Yeah, I wanted to show this. If you're still there, Jason is a Bennett. He's a guy from my old Bear Creek, which is we talked about that with Mace Man last week, a couple weeks ago. Anyway, he was saying, what should I get Lone Star wise? Well, talking drivers, I assume you're talking drivers, and I know, Jason, you got a big arm, you can handle this. It's a Warbird. It's like a stable destroyer type. I don't know what the numbers are. Oh, it's a 12 6 -1 3. So it's a 12 speed, very, very wind worthy disc right here. I love my Warbird. It seemed a little hair faster than my destroyer at the time when I was really throwing this thing a lot. I haven't put much time in with this one, but the first couple that I got, I love the Warbird. It was instantly in my bag that tournament, and I got birdies with it. The other one, Tumbleweed, Chris turned me on to this one. I love having a working disc, a disc that you can work with and you can make it flip up. This thing will flip up, roll, long sky rollers, Tumbleweed, just like the name implies, or with a little bit stronger arm, the curl, which I love this new curl stamp. That's pretty cool. I don't know what that is, but their art is getting better and better, and they keep putting out new designs. The BB6 logo is amazing with the screwball. I don't have a picture of that one, but anyway, but so back to Jason, the curl. I love this disc, man. That's kind of like It's a 11 speed, a little slower than the Warbird, and a -1 fade. Turn -1 turn, and then +2 fade. Curl's a great one. Then you got, this is the one Meredith was talking about earlier, the Frio and the Lariat are two really good discs you got to put in your bag. The Frio's a little slower. I think the Lariat's a 9 speed, and this one is a 7. But these are your Escape, your TL, your, I don't know what other company, but anyway. Then
here you go, Hemi, the one that you were looking for a little earlier.
The Curl,
the BB6.
Oh,
this
yeah,
is the one you were asking about right here. I mean, you wanted everyone to see that beautiful logo they have on this BB6.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
My favorite one with the screwball. That's one of my favorite designs. And then I'll save this one for last. The Blue Bonnet. Jason, if you're still there, this putter right here feels so good. and especially in what plastic is this, Chris? The
Blue Bonnet, that's
V2. This is V2.
Right. I have that. They have all 4 in that one.
And this one floats. Okay. And then so this guy, the Benny, which is the penny putter with a bead, and it's a very small bead. But it's real comfortable, just like the penny. But this plastic, he calls it D2, Delta 2. That's some good stuff, man.
That's not out yet, though. That one is not out yet, but it's soon to hit the market. But for us, very few special people who have them in our hands.
I'm sorry, man. I teased you, but man, but the reason I like it so much is because the V plastic was always, I knew it wasn't going to be my plastic. I could tell. It's just too gummy and a little bit wimpy for me. And then the V2 had promise, but they came out with it on the Jackrabbit. That's where I first discovered the V2 when I threw the Jackrabbit, which is like a bulldog. Jason, if you're listening, it's just a super overstable putter. Great for, I think that's what Nico puts with. It's a great pro putter, but for me, just a little bit too much hyzer, just a little bit too beefy sometimes, like I got a zone. But this guy, this new plastic. So when that comes Delta. Out, I think that's
well. Here's that Lariat you were talking about. Here's the profile on the Lariat. This is the disc. Obviously, you can tell I love this disc because I hit an ace with it, with all of the Dillards from Lone Star Disc as well during one of the Lone Star Disc tournaments. So one of my prized possessions.
Off that, didn't you?
I made a few dollars, but not as much as I should have made. But yes, I made a few dollars off of it. But the Lariat is something I put in your hand, and literally, I think he almost aced it like with the second throw. It was just amazing. Of course, I lost that Lariat. Now I've lost I think the Benny putter. I lost that as well. But well lost is never lost, especially when it's going in your bag.
Well, Jason just said he's putting arrows and JK. So yeah, I would say talking about a JK AVR, this Benny very much like that. What you're talking about, those the stiffer AVRs. I know JK's had some gummy ones, but I don't remember what their plastics were called. But this would be more on the champion side, Jason. This stuff, and highly recommend for sure. But Jason was asking, what do I throw? Oh my God, that's a loaded question. That's what I'm trying to discover, Jason. And I have the shop right in my backyard. I mean, I'm literally 10 minutes from the shop. So I'm in the learning curve too, but I just haven't been hammering it like Chris has. Chris knows more. He's been there for all the draws, all the new plastic, and has seen it all.
Yeah, but it goes by. It comes and goes so fast, Timmy. And one thing that I did appreciate that Lone Star does do is they listen to their players, especially the pros. The pros have pretty much led a few of these discs, as you well know as I do as well. on what they make next. Not that Travis and Terry and Sinjin and Brittany do not come up with some disc and ideas of their own, but they really listen to what their players want, and they're trying to put it in their hands so they can be competitive out there and hopefully bring home some wins on that disc golf pro tour that you so much enjoy watching.
Yeah, it's cool. As we've Lone Star's come a long way in a short amount of time, and looking forward to seeing the shop open. It's going to be cool. It looks really nice, and hopefully I guess they have a little course there. It's not like an official course, I guess maybe they put it on UDisc, maybe not. I don't know what
it is on UDisc, but it is a private course. You do have to go into the pro shop and check in to play the course. And it will be being used for the grand opening. They're going to be having a flex start tournament during that open. So you come in, grab you a bunch of discs that they're going to be having on specials and sales, get to see the new shop, get to meet all the owners as well. A few pros are going to be out there, I know, and then you can play that 9-hole, but it'll be playing as 18. They are currently trying to put in 2 sets of tee boxes on the 9 holes they have currently, and it's a fun little course out there, but it is a private course, but you do have to check in at the pro shop in order to play it.
Mm-hmm. And if you are trying out your discs like I did, be sure to look for my Founder's Curl. It's off there on the right in the trees there. I keep looking, but me and Travis looked that day. So anyway, be careful throwing to your right there. You can lose some plastic really quick there.
And the nice thing is, if you don't know how something flies, they typically will have something that you can take out there and test. So if you want to get out there and throw something and you're not familiar with the disc and, you don't necessarily trust all the numbers, ask Nick, ask somebody behind the counter if they got a prototype or something that you can throw. And I'm fairly sure they'll let you go out there and try them out as well, which is this wonderful way of getting to know the disc before you buy it. Yeah. I just think that they're very proud of what they do. They know the plastic's good. They feel confident, as do I. Because like you said, from where they started, which they were still putting out some amazing stuff for being a beginning company, to just almost like starting to really nail it down, really, really refine it into some just amazing pieces of artwork that their plastic has become. And like you said, I really enjoy the artist series disc that they're putting out as well, because you and I at first were just like, I don't know about this. But boy, they sure have turned the corner on that.
No, they didn't look back. They did not look back. They just kept going.
And
that's a great model for a company. You just keep going. You just keep going. They're so inspiring. It's what they definitely inspired me to keep going. Just first of all, I got to say thank you so much, Nick, for your hospitality that you showed me and Chris the other day. Travis, it's just overwhelming. I was looking at my stack of plastic, and I haven't taken a lot of allotments, but most of my allotments come from just Travis saying grab this and grab that. So I haven't done the official allotments, but man, I'm just overwhelmed with what kind of great plastic I have in my bag, and I can go out and try to whittle it down which ones are better than which. I have no idea. There's so many great drivers they have.
Yeah, Travis is always telling me, get Hemi to come out here, tell him to pick something up. He's always wanting you to throw something, talk to him about new models, new ideas, and things like that. He's always open to that, and he's always been interested in your thoughts and you being a player as well, which I think has boded well for not only you as a player, but for us as the Fling Show as well. It's just been a wonderful partnership for these last 3 years.
No doubt. And I appreciate it so much. I just wanted to let you guys, let everybody know that. It's just it's good stuff.
As do I. I'm lucky enough that I get to go play rounds with him as well, catch a round here and there. Very fortunate to play with all the Dillards. It's always entertaining. It's always fun. And I also tell them all the time, I never take that for granted. Never know how much longer we're going to be able to play. Hopefully it's still going to be another 10 or 15 years. You never know. But good health, we hope that does that. But I never take it for granted, those opportunities that I get to go play with those group of fellas. That's for sure.
Mm-hmm. No doubt.
All right. Well, that's all I have for this evening. Hemi, you have anything else before we go? Get ready for this weekend and hopefully batten down and don't get much more water.
Yeah, hopefully it's over, or at least it won't train on us.
I don't think so. I think I'm going to be talking to you next Wednesday. We're going to be going.
I know,
I don't think
man.
we've been able to play one round.
The bayou's already up,
Yeah.
twice what it was. Yeah, but it goes down pretty quick. We'll see how it goes. It was looking pretty.
Last quick question for our viewers. If it stops raining just enough, what's your first course that you would go play with all this rain on the ground? What's the first place you're going to go to? They go, okay, if one place isn't going to have all the water on the ground, where are you going?
You asking me that?
Yeah.
My first thought is Little E, and then head out further north to Shawshank.
That big old hill lets that water go down quick. That's true.
Yeah,
that's
definitely
true.
Steve's is good. Got a couple of spots that you have to, like the Green Miles, maybe you have to walk through some water, but yeah, that's a good one. But Little E's always drained well.
You know what's funny, and you wouldn't think it, but Spring Valley, if the bayou doesn't come over on top of that course, it is amazing how well that place drains.
Yeah. You know what?
I mean, you wouldn't think so, but it does.
A lot of it is that sandy soil from making those greens all those years,
From the hundreds of thousands of pounds of sand that Andy has brought over the years.
Because
it goes on down.
It'll end up in a creek, and it's like, man, I've never seen a sandy creek. Oh yeah, it came from the greens.
Yeah, the bayous down by Spring Valley are very beautifully white. They're like, how did all that sand get that beautiful white sand get in the bayou?
Yeah. Man, and isn't it funny how
and I have listened to Andy complain about it. Trust me, she can't stand it because it is just like watching water just wash away. I mean, money just wash away.
Yeah. And isn't she into that now? Like greens? She has some kind of company where she's maintaining greens and stuff.
Right. Her and her son, they've been doing that. I think they've been doing work over there in Carlton Woods in the Woodlands. There's some of the nice golf courses in the area for sure. Carlton Woods. Fancy
neighborhoods.
Yeah. Is that above my pay grade? I can tell you that.
Is that where they had the LPGA and also the Masters played there? The old guys played there.
Yeah, I was driving by there. I got to see all the signs set up for that. So, but
Woodland's
always busy.
I actually drove a guy that had to do with kind of their advertising and stuff like that. He was involved with the sport. I'm talking about the LPGA. And it's funny he asked me this question because this is what I was thinking when I pulled up to pick up my gas. I was like Uber driving, and I drove in. I was like, I didn't even see those flaggy things that they put at disc golf tournaments, to make it look blingy. I didn't see any of that, and I saw a couple of guys that didn't quite know what I was doing there. Like they didn't have the ride share area like secured, and it was just kind of out of whack, anyway. So I pick up this guy, and he finds out that I'm into watching golf and stuff. And he's like, so he goes, let me ask you a couple of questions. Did you know that this was a major for the females? And then he said, let me backtrack. Did you know there was a tournament this weekend? And when did you know? And I was like, well, a couple of days before, I think, and then he was like, exactly. He said, we have a problem here getting the word out about the LPGA. And I was like, that's funny you say that, because when I pulled in I told him about the Texas State's disc golf tournament, I said the disc golf tournament looked like exponentially more exciting than what I saw at the LPGA. You guys need to go to a disc golf pro tour and get some tips, which is funny because those ladies make exponentially more money players than disc golfers do, so they have a problem with advertising apparently. And
well, it's how are you going to reach your target market? and who is your target market. And in the Woodlands, if you're talking about somebody who's going to be going up to the tournament, you're talking about someone who's within a local radius that isn't very far. And a lot of people just don't receive that information the old fashioned way through ESPN or Fox Sports or stuff like that. And it's just, I'm not going to disagree. It is tough. Even in the disc golf world, we're finding, yes, oh my goodness gracious, lots of disc golf is going on. There's tournaments all the time. But to get the word out about your specific tournament now and to reach an audience, it's difficult because there's often times where people, I know you and I know hundreds of people. I can be on a course and you can be on a course, and we'll probably know half the people that are out there, and they'll walk up to you and they'll still not know that you have a tournament going on because there's just so much other things going on in their life, how they find out information. It's becoming quite the tightrope.
Here's a good point. Here's the thing that popped into my head is like everything is fragmented. All the avenues for advertisement are fragmented, into like different apps or, social media apps or, email. People still send out emails for stuff. People still send text messages to me that I never look at. And it says it's scam. And, so like it's spam, and it's like, there's just so many avenues that there used to be a couple of avenues for advertising, a handful, newspaper, TV, and
radio.
Your radio,
newspaper, TV, radio. That was it.
Yeah. And so now it's like, how do you do that? That's an interesting topic. We need to get an
it's kind of funny. I used to be mad when I missed it, right? Especially when they announced concert tickets going on sale. And then you learn it like the day after, which that wasn't a good time to learn, the day after tickets went on sale, because most people outside sitting down for 24 hours for the tickets went on sale. So it's kind of funny, that dichotomy. It was difficult then it kind of got easy, and then all of a sudden it's difficult now. It's
I think one reason that we're not really discussing that we should add to the equation is that people don't pay attention. And that's not just where do you advertise. Even if I'm standing right in front of you and I'm telling you this thing that I want you to hear, there's a good chance you're not going to listen because you're distracted, because you have something else going on. You got your phone right there. Somebody just texted you. Your mind is right here somewhere else, so you're trying to reach an audience that is checked out, essentially, not everybody. I'm not being a downer or anything. I'm just saying we all kind of as a society have checked out. We all are sort of distracted.
That 3-second attention span. If you can't get me in 3 seconds, then people just turn it right off, and it's true. There's just so much. We're just being bombarded all the time.
Wait, what'd you say?
I said we have that, not we, but society has. Oh, you're funny.
It's a joke. I'm sorry.
You got me again. You got me. It's kind of like, the disc golf going to be in the Olympics. You got me on that one. All right. You got me. You got me.
Yeah. Well, shoot, man. Well, come over.
All right, man.
Come over and putt with me if it's raining. We'll putt out the garage.
Let's do something for sure, because I know that my wife will be kicking me out of the house because I'll start to drive her crazy here shortly.
Okay.
It didn't take
man.
long. All right. Well, as we say before, safe drive. And like we like to say before we end the show, folks, go play disc golf, go throw something in the air. And before we go, as always, we got to see Mikey. All right, Hemi, man. I'll talk to you this week.
All my controls are gone, so I couldn't turn off or anything. I couldn't mute anything.
Yeah, it's all right.
All right.
Till next week, guys. Peace.
All right.
And I'll see you later, Hemi.
All right. We'll see y'all next time. Thanks, Jason, everybody.
Thanks, Mayor. Love you.
Meredith, Sean, thank y'all for sticking around. Love y'all.
Peace.